Hey everyone, welcome to your Virgo full moon reading, and the Virgo full moon is going to be at its fullest on March 18th of 2022 at 1:17 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, which is the time zone I'm in, so you can adjust it for wherever you're at, but you of course will be feeling it a few days, a few after. If you're water signs and have a lot of water in your chart, you might feel like 2 years before, 2 years after. But it feels like that sometimes. So the full moon energy of the Virgo is bringing in very much the goddess of the harvest coming in, and I love these beautiful cards from these Yasmin Boland, and here's the beautiful Virgo full moon. And it says on here, take inspired action. So with this reading, we're going to be looking at what inspired action does the Creator and Spirit want you to know about? In what area of your life are we looking at inspiring some action during this, or around this Virgo full moon anyway? Also, there is this energy with Virgo of balancing between like dreaming big and being, practical. There's this balance between dreaming and being heavenly minded and being very earth, it's an earth element, so very grounded as well. So the divine masculine with its, spiritual power, and the divine feminine with very earthy goddess comforting as well. So there's this balancing that comes in. So I'll ask about balance as well for this reading. In this book that comes with these cards, she has this beautiful affirmation for the full moon in Virgo that says, I forgive myself for everything. I'm doing my best. And I love that energy for this because, as you are inspiring yourself for something or you're balancing things out, there's no super, user manual. I don't know if we would read it if we had it anyway, but you are doing the best moment by moment. You're always giving the best for that moment. So I love that. But we're going to jump in for a reading for each of the zodiac signs, and I'm going to jump in for your sign right now. All right, all my Scorpios, this is your reading for the Virgo full moon, and we're going to start off by pulling a card from these Queen of the Moon Oracle cards. And this is just going to represent what the Creator wants you to know about what area of your life could use some inspired action. So what area of your life could use some inspired action for our Scorpios? What would you like them to know? Okay, that's it right there. And you have change. So card number 35. I love the little birdies up there. And this is, the Thunder Moon change. So we'll read from the book here, and of course this sounds like that is where the action can happen, is the change area. And it says, accept change. Life, like the seasons, is about to change. Take advantage of change energy. Plan ahead. And the little affirmation for this card is, I welcome change and I ride its energy. One of the great truths in life is that change is constant. It's unavoidable, and we can resist all we want, but nothing truly stays the same. It's better then to prepare and even direct change by setting intentions and building our personal power from the inside out, right? Inspired change, inspired action. Seasonally, there are times of the year that have at their essence a profound sense of change, usually the shoulder seasons of autumn and spring. It's at these times of year we can feel more easily the shift between one season and another, which is pretty hilarious because this Virgo full moon is on March 18th, and the equinox is both the spring in the northern hemisphere and the fall in the southern hemisphere is March 20th. So perfect timing for this for you. In autumn, the nights grow longer and there is a chill when darkness falls that wasn't there just weeks before. The breeze that blows is no longer balmy. The birds we've been watching all summer seem to have packed up and left, and in their place, new species appear to strut their stuff. We begin to dress with more layers, and we may even hunger for different foods. All these are signals of change. In spring, it's all about waking up and warming up, and the opposite happens. All these are signals of change. This moon shines down upon the winds of change, the clearing storms, the electric crackle of lightning, and the boom of thunder echoing across the valley. There is great energy to be channeled in such a time and to be focused towards riding change with joy and ease. And the companion stone or metal for this one is serpentine if you are with the energies of crystals and stones. So I really like this. I mean, it really feels like a beautiful tower energy, especially with the mention of the lightning bolts and all this. That is, the tower in the regular tarot really has this message of that whatever is removed out of our life or brought into our life is happening on purpose, for a purpose. It's not happening to us, it's happening for us. And so when we embrace the change, instead of resisting it and putting a story of victimhood around change, then we have a totally different experience from it if we want. If you want, we all come here to experience that victimhood and that, devastation and, that disappointment and all of those fear emotions. But knowing that you have another choice really helps with this too. We're also going to pull a card here from the Sirian Starseed Tarot. And this is going to be what Spirit wants you to know around balance around this Virgo full moon. So we'll see what else they want you to know here. And one more time. All right, so what else? What would you like our Scorpios to know about balance around this moon, please? Okay, I do want that one right there. Yep, and you have the Two of Flames, the Two of Wands in the Standard Tarot. And so this is about these two energies that you deal with in life. One of them is the human side that I was talking about, the victimhood, the one that's rooted in fear, the one that's rooted in fight or flight, and where we feel like life is happening to us. And then the other one is our energy of our higher self, of the spiritual world, and that is definitely a more accepting and loving energy, because it is with that knowledge of our higher self, and we see the tapestry of life and we see how everything is threaded together and how everything is designed and everything happens on purpose, for a purpose and for our experiences here. This allows you to have this balance between the energies. So that is what this is about, this change, how you approach it, how you look at change and embrace change. And the balancing they want you to know about is whatever you focus on is what grows. So if you focus on the devastation piece of change, the devastation feelings and emotions are going to grow in you. But if you instead focus on the gratitude for the change, knowing that if something like in the Tower card, if it burns down, it's actually just making room for something new and even better for your journey than you had even before. So I really love that for you. And we are, of course, going to also pull cards here from these Tarot of Dreams. And this is just going to be clarification around the inspired action around the balance or whatever else Spirit wants you to know about. Okay, well, they want that one. They won't let that one shuffle. And just around this Virgo full moon, anything else. All right, so what else for our Scorpios, please? Okay, and those two. Okay, so this one goes over here, these go here, and this one goes here. Okay, we can get everything all perfect, not perfect, but close enough, at least organized. There. So we'll start over here. Okay, no, they said, no, we'll start here. So we will start here then. So cups, this is the 6 of cups. I guess I could show you the card. That might be helpful too. And cups are your emotions. And this card is usually called the nostalgia card. And what I love about this is about, in a way, change, because 6s are about movement, and this is a movement of your emotions. And because these are memories and nostalgia, looking back over your life, this is about a change of your emotions. And how that happens is like this change of energy. Our awareness changes in this situation here, which when we look back at memories, especially painful ones, those are the ones that really stand out to us, right? When we look back at it, we realize that every situation has these two energies. It's either of unconditional love or of the fear of losing conditional love. And when you go back and look at a painful memory, you can ask yourself, one, my emotions I was feeling, were they of unconditional love, or was it a fear of losing conditional love, of being rejected, of failing, or something that related to fear? And if it's a painful memory, it's probably going to be this one, because usually emotions of unconditional love don't feel painful. They feel joyful and overflowing, right? And then you can look at the other person too and go, okay, their actions, their words, how I was interpreting what they were, putting out toward me. Was it of unconditional love, or was it of fear of losing conditional love? And again, if they were given unconditional love, chances are it wouldn't have hurt. It would have been, again, sparking a wonderful, joyful, loving feeling within us. So chances are it was a fear. Well, the thing about the human side of us is that when it goes into fear, when it goes into that fight or flight and it kicks in, when our little self, the little child in each of us, wants to feel safe, it wants to feel in control. When it feels unsafe, when it feels out of control, it will go into that panic mode, sound the alarm, and do whatever it feels it needs to gain control again and to feel safe again. Which, when we're in that mode, in fight or flight, the blood rushes from our brain to go to our hands and to our feet so we can fight or run like crazy to get to safety, right? And when it's emotional monsters that are triggering us, we just have this blood rush out of our brain in all circumstances, because our physical body doesn't want us standing still when it's in danger, because that's when the monster gets us and eats us, right? So the blood rushes from our brain, and we're literally, I always say, we're literally out of our minds, because it doesn't want us to be in our minds thinking. So when it goes into that mode and trying to feel safe again, it's reactionary. It's almost animalistic. It's almost like a cornered animal. It attacks. It does things that do not seem loving and can be abusive and are very selfish, because it's self-preservation that it's going through. So when we sit back and look at a memory, and we look at the energies of it, and we're like, wow, now that if I can sit in a place of peace and unconditional love, just looking back, not re-experiencing it all, but looking back over what was going on, and I see that that person was in fear, and that their actions were trying to feel back in control and to feel safe again, I stopped taking it so personal, because it wasn't. It was all going on over in their little world. I just happened to get hit with what was flying from it. And then I start looking at the situation differently. I also start looking at them differently. And even more importantly, I start looking at myself differently. So this change that happens can be this change that happens in our emotional memories and how we look at stuff. So they want to go to this one next. Yeah. And here's the Emperor. And this also, you can see he's holding on to 2 wands, 2 light things here. And the Emperor has 2 sides of him, just like as I was talking about. So this is perfect that he comes next, because there's the loving Emperor, who all their actions are for the kingdom, for the kingdom to be successful, for the kingdom to grow and become fruitful, and to have everyone happy and to be able to get along. So all the rules that the loving emperor creates are for the benefit of everyone. But when the little child in them feels unsafe, and when the little child in them feels out of control, when they go into that fight or flight, they transform from an emperor, a loving emperor, to a dictator, to a tyrant whose rules are all about them feeling like they're in control, getting more control, and even taking control from others. And so there is this, again, this choice, this place that we can look at, and we can change the way we look at life. We can change the place from where we come from. And then they do want to go this way, so we will go here. Okay. So in the beginning, when I was talking about the tower, well, here it is. I love it when they do that. So the tower does have this story, which I will go into completely since they brought that up. I only touched on it a little. It starts really with the Wheel of Fortune card, which before you came down here, your higher self, your powerful soul, chose what avatar was going to represent it in this game, which is your human character, you. It decided when it was going to enter this game and when it's going to leave this game, and all these fated events that happen in life. But within each of those fated events, we still get to choose all this choice stuff, what story we put to that fated event, what emotion we want to feel through this fated event. And when we realize that, there's this transformation that happens when we can really grasp that everything in our life is unfolding for us and not happening to us. That we're not on this out-of-control drama train that's about to leap off the tracks and blow up in a gorge. You know, we're more on like a train that's attached to the tracks, like a monorail, maybe at Disneyland or Disney World, that it just moves along smoothly. It has all its stops, and it's all unfolding in a specific way for a specific reason, and it's not as out of control as we think it is. So our fears for the future transform too, because we realize that no matter what comes for us, comes through our lives, that we still always get to choose what it means. We get to choose what we feel. And I know in the beginning, when I first realized that they were telling me this, I'm like, sometimes I really don't feel like I'm making a choice. It just feels like this happens. This is what it means to me. That happens. This is what I feel. And they were like, yeah, but when you go back and look at these memories and look back at your childhood and how you were raised, you were conditioned with these popular opinions of what things are supposed to mean and how you're supposed to feel in them. And they were so reinforced. And as things happened and reinforced and like, yep, that's the way you're supposed to feel. Yep, that's what it's supposed to mean. That it became our habit, and then it became our reaction. But when we slow down things in life, we're able to see that we can change what something means. If we can take a deep breath when that fear starts to rise and go, whoa, wait a minute. Does it have to mean that? Do I have to feel this way? And then you know you have this choice. You can balance all this emotional items. And where the tower comes in is that the tower is one of those fated events that's going on in your life, whether it's a relationship, you know, romantic, family, friends, work, whatever, or it's a situation like work or education or some sort of circumstance you're in, or things like your possessions, your bank account, or your body. Any of those things that's been in your life on purpose, for a purpose, but for you to experience the next fated event, this needs to be removed so you can move into that new fated event. So this change that happens, this change that comes, it happens for you in order to make, you know, removal of things so you can move on to the next beautiful adventure in your life. So that's what that's all about. Perfect. Yep, and then you have the Devil card here. And don't worry about this card. This is just your shadow side. This is your human side, and it shows you that you are in this cage with no door on it. And the devil card is your shadow. It's your tour guide in that amusement park of fear rides that we came here to experience. And being the tour guide, it knows all about the behind the scenes and under the surface, everything that's going on. And so they bring you, I mean, they're a part of you. There's like the tip of your finger of this massive, powerful being that you are, but it is a part of you, and it's a role that we want it to play is for it to bring up those things that make us feel like we're caged. And so there's this transformation that happens as we move into this, period of our life where in not subtle ways, they'll bring up truths to your face that you think are truths, and they challenge you with it. It's like they put mirrors all around you. An example is like, in a matter of a week, I had 5 people contact me about someone who passed away. One, a friend of mine, her husband had passed away. Another one had a mentor of theirs that passed away. Another one had a friend of theirs, a close friend, that attempted to kill themselves. I had my mom's neighbor passed away, and there was another friend that contacted me, and I had another family member passed away, all in a matter of a week. And so when that kind of stuff happens, it's like so in your face and obvious. I'm like, oh, and that's how the shadow works. It brings to us those things that it wants us to be able to look at so that we can free ourselves from the cage. I always say it's like Dr. Evil in the Austin Powers comedy spy series, the movies that were out. Dr. Evil would capture Austin Powers, the spy. Dr. Evil, of course, was the villain. And he would just, proudly tell him the plan of what he was going to do, and with an evil laugh. And Austin Powers would always escape and foil it. In fact, even his advisors of Dr. Evil would tell him, stop. You keep telling him and they're going to get away. He's going to break loose and stop it. But that's what our shadow does. It tells us, here's what's keeping you in the cage, not to boast or brag, but to wink at us and go wink, wink. So that's what's keeping you there. So you can escape from that if you want. And that's what our shadow brings up for us. And that's why this is coming up for you, is because this change that's happening has to do with how you look at everything. And then your final card, would be the 9 of Swords. Swords are your thoughts, your beliefs, your mindsets, your attitudes, your expectations. It's known as the nightmare card or the insomnia card. And it's because all these thoughts and beliefs that you had about yourself, all these little bars that are keeping you trapped, you are almost to the point of exhaustion. But you are almost ready to let it go, because the 10 is the endings and the new beginnings of the 10 of Swords. So you're at this place, this perfect place that you are finding from within. All these thoughts and these beliefs, all these swords that are in this tree are all these small t truths and expectations that you've been trying to maintain, all those thoughts and beliefs that made you believe what you believed, that have you focus on this, the fearful side of life, nightmare especially. You got the devil and the nightmare. It's like, you're so ready for this tower moment. You're like actually so excited to have this change come, that this awareness that's coming in for you is so perfect for this Virgo full moon. So I'm excited for this freedom that's headed your way. So I love it. I'm going to leave the reading there. I do want to let you know, if you are looking for even more messages of love from above, I put out free monthly readings one is the monthly readings by each zodiac sign. Also, I put out weekly energy updates for each of the elements, like fire signs, water signs, etc., full moon, new moon, and a few other types of readings and a few other types of videos. So if you don't want to miss out on any of those and be notified immediately when they become available, if you give this video a little thumbs up and click the like button. Also, if you click the subscribe button, that'll give you access to this notification bell. And when you go in there, you can just select all, and then you'll be notified of any new videos that come out on the channel. Also, doing any of those things helps spread the love. Because when you like a video, share a video, comment on a video, or subscribe to a channel, it makes the YouTube algorithm absolutely giddy, and it wants to share those videos on the channel with other people as well. So if you feel inspired to do any of those things, I am grateful for that. Also, these are just general readings. If you want even more specific information for your life, I do offer personal readings, and all that information is in the description box below. All right, all you Scorpios, as you go through this full moon and every day of your life, please know that you are unconditionally loved by the Creator of all things. And of course, I love you too. Have an amazing full moon. I'm sure I'll be talking to you very soon. So until then, you hang in there and you take care.